We are evaluating ourselves and understanding who we are more and more through the things that we like about ourselves and the things that we do not like about ourselves. And in this exploration, we realize that there are certain things that we bought into, certain beliefs, certain stories that we've held on to that do not represent who we are today and probably have never really represented us, or at least they never really brought us the joy or the peace of mind or the happiness or the success or the beauty or the love that we had hoped they would have brought us. And in so doing, we're at a crossroads where we have to figure out, well, if who I've been so far to this point has brought me to where I am, and in some respect, I'm not completely satisfied or content with who I am, or if it's not that intense, maybe I feel that I could be more. I could be more loving, more generous, more successful, more caring, more in tune, more alive, more fun. More fun. More life could be more delicious. I love that word delicious. I'm going to use it quite a lot because it refers to food. It refers to being satisfied and satiated in a way that's beyond word and beyond food. It's more of a holistic kind of filling up. That's what delicious represents to me. People have realized that they want to move on to a better version of themselves. We would like to move on, evolve to a better version of ourselves. And we're giving ourselves the time and the space to do that. I see it wherever I travel, wherever I go. I'm seeing that people like myself are exploring who they are and want to shift. And they're making choices. They're making mental choices, emotional choices, certain actions. They're changing behavior. They're really implementing this shift. They're getting rid of certain people from their lives who don't nourish them anymore, who don't really feed them with the positivity that they need to become who they want to be. They're Xing out certain behaviors and certain ways of thinking and certain mannerisms. And so in this attempt to shift to who we really want to be, we are allowing ourselves to shift and giving ourselves the space to shift. But are we giving that same space to people that we encounter? To our loved ones, to our friends, to our family, to our partners, to the people that we meet just on the street, to the people that we've had old rapport and old relationships with? Are we holding them in a given version of themselves? Aren't they like us? Aren't they shifting and growing and learning and evolving like we are? Aren't they becoming their new them? They are moving and shifting moment to moment in a new version of themselves. As we can see in our hearts and in our own lives, how we're shifting, we have to give that space to all those on the outside of us, the same space to shift into who they want to become, the same space to shift into who they are becoming. So the question is, I can see the new you. Can you see the new me? And I chose it in that direction first. I'm giving you the space. I see the new you. So I've already given you the space in which you can demonstrate all that is new, all that's different, all that's evolved and more conscious and aware and loving. And whatever shift you're going through, I can see it. I've offered that gift because you have to be able to offer what you want to receive. So first I offer it, and then I ask, can you then give me that space, or are you already giving me that space? Because so often we want to receive, we want to do us. But to do you, you have to also realize that you're a part of this world. You're part of a network of people. As much as you may have a belief that says, I can change me, if you have a belief that says the world out there can't change, they're two conflicting beliefs. And so I wanted to come back to the compassion of being able to offer what it is you want to receive. First of all, offer it kindly in love and compassion, and make the space for your reality to reflect that same gentleness and care back to you. So often we live in stories and we hold on to stories of lessons that we've learned. We've learned the lessons, we've understood lessons that give us more courage and more strength and more vigor and more beauty and more understanding of our lives. But they were just lessons. The story in itself doesn't need to be held on to. You can't end up becoming a series of stories. That cannot be your identity. Your identity is way beyond that. We are an infinite souls, spirits here on this planet. And we have to give ourselves the space to acknowledge that and become that and to realize that. And so we cannot reduce ourselves to stories. In that case, we become a multitude of stories. The stories of my childhood, of me with that person, of me doing this, the story of me when I'm sad, the story of me when I'm happy, the story of me when I'm not so happy, the story of me when I'm successful. There are millions of stories that dissect us and rip us apart. And that's in reality demonstrated just your level of understanding and consciousness of who you were then, when you were engrossed in that story, when you're engrossed in that experience that we then use as a story. And when we actually absorb these stories and make them part of our identity, unfortunately we have to keep on reliving that same story that probably we've already outgrown. We've already garnered and gleaned the lesson from that story and don't need to relive that story. In giving that space to others and to ourselves to become our new selves, our new version, we're going to have to let go of a lot of stories. And that's okay. New stories can be experienced, but the idea is not to hold on to stories and call that you. The idea is to experience these events, get the lessons, get the joy, get the nourishment from it, but to leave yourself free of stories. Because then you can actually engage in many more experiences, but not become filled to the brim. Intimate relationships and rapports can actually blossom and evolve and take us to where they were meant to take us. And that's when we can release the dramas. The drama is us holding ourselves and our loved ones in a story, even though that story no longer contains who they are. And they've outgrown that story. And that's where the drama and the conflict comes about. Can we see the new world? The world is shifting and changing. Are we creating a space in which we can see and recognize that? Because if we hold on to the old stories of the world that once was, there is no space for a new world. And it's time and it's ready, and the new world is here upon us. It's time for us to see it and become contributors and conscious participants in creating the space for that new world to blossom at a rapid and accelerated pace.